Hello and welcome back to Try Hard Tuesdays. I'm your revitalized host, Troubadour, and I got a fun team for y'all today. In today's video, we are once again in the Standard Customs Arena, and look, y'all, I know it's been like a month since the last Try Hard Tuesday. Had to take a bit of a break after the whole white truffle shenanigans, but we are back in full force. Got some really interesting stuff for you in this video. Using a pet that's been on my list for a while, but I've been seeing it crop up a lot more lately in the arena, so I thought it'd be a fun time to focus on it. I mean, I don't know why I'm beating around the bush. Y'all have seen the title. We're doing the Trout. So Trout is one of those pets that's like both really good, but also not seen that much. Now, you may have seen a lot lately thanks to a certain player named Porta, aka Trout Girl, aka whatever she calls herself nowadays. I don't know. She has like 5 different usernames. But Porta's been doing it in the arena for a long time. Huge fan of the Trout. And actually, that's who I got this pack from. Shout outs to Porta for this pack. So yeah, we're building around the Trout. Here it is. Friend sold if it was sold for at least 3 gold. Gain +1 attack and +2 health. Now, the thing with the Trout is if you set up your pack right, you can really abuse it not having a trigger limit. I've made videos on Trout in the past featuring some other ideas. Like I've done one with Sage Grouse and Pheasant, you know, with Trout back when it came out. I think there are a couple other things with Trout too, but I haven't done like a Try Hard Tuesdays on Trout specifically, just all in on getting Trout triggers. That's what we're gonna do in this video here. Now, there's a lot of more ways to trigger Trout than you think. Obviously, you know, get a pet to level 3, it'll sell for 3 gold. But you can also use things like the rice, asparagus, even sage grouse plus strawberry. You can get pets to 3 gold. You can pill an anteater. Dude, the sheep here made me lose. That's crazy. You can pill an anteater and sell that level 3 ant for 3 gold. There's a lot of different ways to get it. But we're gonna go ahead and pill this here. So there's the Trout. Now, Trout, just check out how many triggers there are. It starts at, check how many triggers I'm gonna get. It starts out as a 3-4, right? So that's 1 trigger we got there. We're gonna freeze this rice and bring in a chipmunk. Chipmunk is absolutely broken with rice because it gives you a free rice. So you can cycle chipmunks and get free triggers with the Trout. Sorry, it's absolutely broken with the Trout. You just get so many triggers. Look at that. We keep scaling. We'll pill the anteater as well to get another trigger on it. We'll even get here the strawberry trigger, the sage grouse. Sell the quoll to get the asparagus. That's why quoll's in this pack. So I can increase this sell value from 1 to 3. And then we're gonna sell one more time. Oh, look, we find our chipmunk. Do we find more rice? No, we'll just buy a beluga sturgeon just for the heck of it, and an ox just for the heck of it. We have an 11-20. We triggered Trout 8 times on turn 7. Now, that isn't like, compared to a team like this, like, okay, yeah, I guess it's a little closer to maybe some other high scaling teams. But still, 8 triggers is pretty good, and it's only going to get even crazier from here, because once you start stacking multiple Trout, and once you have stuff like rice, seagull, oh man, it gets just a little bit out of hand. And look at that, we find more chipmunks so we can cycle and reuse the rice over and over. That's pretty sick. Oh yeah, beluga sturgeon, you can pill the beluga sturgeon for a dolphin with rice, which also works for the trigger of the Trout. And then, yeah, we'll just buy another one here. We already have a 15-28 on turn number 8. Their stats are pretty nice, but my Trout is going to sweep almost their entire team. And then my second Trout's going to clean up in the back. And yeah, we're going to put it on to fast forward here because we're going to be doing a lot of buy, sell, a lot of scaling with the Trout and the rice here. Now, let me talk about Trout a bit and why I think it is so good, yet not many people use it. Trout, it's so good because if you set up your pack like this and use things like rice and pilling and all this stuff, you can get so many stats so quickly. Also, the melons here are just absolutely devastating for me. I don't have protection equipment, they do. You get scaling so freaking much, especially if you use like the rice stuff, or if you use get the Trout to level 2, it scales really fast. But the other thing about Trout that I think is the reason you don't see it very much is just because it's like, it's a very boom or bust kind of pet. Kind of like, not as strong as Jersey Devil. I'm not saying it's as good as Jersey Devil, but it's on the level of Jersey Devil in that it is, it can be very strong and completely just get out of control really fast if you are not being careful, not paying attention. Also, Oyster, another free trigger. It can get out of hand really fast, and depending on the run, you will either just flame out early and get like 3 wins, or you will have way too many stats and no one can beat you. It's kind of like Jersey Devil. Now, it's a lot easier to counterplay in other Jersey Devil. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at these, dude. Now, thankfully, we have a lot of stats and we can counteract their big temporary stats. That's still pretty cool, though. But yeah, double level 2 on these guys, and then the level 1 we kept from the beginning. We are getting close to maxing out here on our HP, thanks to just all the buy-sells that we've had. We'll bring in the Bad Dog as well, just because it's a pretty good toy. Might as well buy-sell that. You can even, if you have the space, you can pill a wolf and then merge the 3 pigs to get a level 2 pig that sells for at least 3 gold. Bakunawa here's a good. Namazu gives us 30 trumpets for the opponent, but once again, the like single Trout is enough to take down the rest of the team. Not even to mention the other pets here. Now, Sevis is really interesting balance conundrum when it comes to customs. There's like these 2 types of teams that are always like at odds with each other. There's the teams that like start small early and then have a huge power spike late game. And there's the teams that are really strong early and then kind of fall off late game. They're more tempo focused. And there's always just an interesting dichotomy between the 2. Also, look at the opponent here. Owl is very good with buy sell, and they got a big coconut crab here, but thanks to our giant stats, and actually the did this matter? No, the stake didn't matter because I would have just 2-shot him anyway because they couldn't knock me out at just enough HP, but still pretty good. There's this interesting dichotomy between the pets that, you know, the teams that start slow and they get really strong, and then the pets that start strong and they get weaker. The pet teams that start, when you're playing a team that starts strong and gets weaker, like doing regular tempo stuff, when you run into a team like this on turn 14, it's not very fun. You basically can't beat these people that started weak and then get it later. The people who started weak and then are stronger later, they lose a lot of lives early and their runs might just flame out. But the few runs that do make it through, like this one, you're not beating it with teams like this. Like, yeah, it's cool, you're going for the ailment stuff, but like, look at this. You're big old names? No, I'm the big old names. Look at the Trout here. You can't do anything to me, dude. It's just way too many stats for anybody to deal with. At this point, this is the time to transform out of the Trout. I mean, they're all basically maxed out. I'm just buy selling just because I'm greeding and trying to get a maxed out just a little bit more. Who knows? Could be a lot of fun. Could get something cool. Also, Silky Shifaka's nice for the transforms. I think this pack specifically had a Water of Youth, and Shifaka didn't have Campedo, Chickpea, Proboscis Monkey. Is that the Danger Pack pet that transforms pets? Didn't have any of that stuff, but at least it had Silky Shifaka, which you can use for the in-battle transformation to make use of these big stats. Here's an interesting team. Hirola High Roller running triple Beluga Whale with Cake and a Pygmy Hippo. I remember trying something like this before with Grizzly Bear. I wasn't able to be as successful, but very fun idea. Get 3 random pets every time to use with your Pygmy Hippo. But we have a 50-50 with melon or coconut, a 48-50 with white okra, and a 41-50 with melon on turn 15. Basically 3 maxed out pets on turn 15. Yeah, that's gonna beat most teams. So yeah, Trout, it's very good. Some runs you might not get very far with it, but the runs that you do, it is absolutely unstoppable. I think the best way to tone down the Trout, like I said, it's not as broken, something like Jersey Devil, but if you were, say, to give Trout a trigger limit, somewhere between 3 and 5, I don't know what the right number is. I'll leave that up to the devs if they do anything. Somewhere between 3 and 5 triggers, I think, would be fair, just to keep it so you're not getting like 8 triggers a turn. That's kind of insane, especially if you get it leveled up. That many triggers just gives it way too many stats way too fast. And we face in the last turn here with basically 3 50-50s. Okay, sorry, who's the cringe one here? We're about to have a cringe off. Look at this, level 3 dragon, level 3 bird of paradise. They has this seagull, I bet it was seagull rice or something like that, and that's what gave them the gold generation with the bird paradise, you know, and then they just pivoted to mushroom to work with the octopus and eagle. That is absolutely disgusting, but I am also running a very disgusting team, so it's only fair. We get mammoth and lionfish here. The 50-50 lionfish, even at level 1, is pretty nice. Octopus is doing nothing to my team. Don't really mind about that at all. They get phoenix and cobra. Phoenix, I don't care because I have white okra. And then we have the lionfish here, big snipes, and then my big Gariel that I transform gets the attack off. And then we get the dub, and that's going to be Try Hard Tuesdays. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll have the pack code in the description if anyone wants to try this. Porta, don't take this as a personal attack. I think your pet is cool, your favorite pet. I just think it needs to be toned down just a little bit. Something like this on turn 16 is maybe just a little bit much. But that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the generic stuff. I'll catch you guys in the next video, but until then, as always, stay true.